Welcome back, family. Hey, this is Rich here from Team Ohana, and we are here to give you this week's Final Order Cutoff Books of Interest. Now, what do I mean by books of interest? I say this every week, so if you guys are tuning in weekly, you get to hear my little rant again. But if you're new, you might want to know what this is about. I don't pick out every single book that's on the Final Order Cutoff. There's just way too many. But I try to pick out anything that maybe you might have overlooked. I mean, if you're already subscribed to a series, then you don't need me telling you to make sure that you've ordered next month's, right? But if there's a new series, something that has a mini series, a one shot, a new series that's going to be ongoing, any number one, if I see it, I'm going to make sure that you know about it. At the same time, I also point out every number two. The reason being, you might have been in a store and picked up a book and said, "Oh, let's find out what this is like." And then you read it, and like, this is actually really good. I like this. But it might have been an obscure indie book, and then you still might not have it next month. So this is my way of saying, hey, if you like number one, make sure you order number two. If there's a first appearance that I know of, obviously there's going to be some that I don't, and if I'm missing any, please throw them down in the comments down below, not just for my benefit, but for every other person that watches the video. Just share the information. We're a community, right? And also, if I see something I think is really a cool cover, so I got to call those out too. I got to call them. And if there's a really ugly cover, I'll call that out too. Because sometimes those ugly covers, they go up in value. I don't know why. I'm not buying it. But anyway, let's just jump right into this list. Let me get that nice screen shared. All right, so we can see we got lots of tabs up here this week. Most of it is Marvel. And there's a lot of number twos, and there's a few cool covers. So let's start right off, though, with Image Comics. We have Destro, number one, a 5-part series. They have their own little series of every one of the G.I. Joe characters. Well, here comes Destro's. So if you want to pick that up, go for it. We have from Image also Self-Help, number one. And I believe I saw somewhere about this being Mature Advisory, or maybe it was just one of the covers. But yeah, I'm not familiar with it at all. But I think this is the second week this has been on the Final Order Cutoff, which happens from time to time. Oh, just to let you know, this is a holiday weekend. It's Memorial Day. And sometimes during Memorial Day weekends, during holiday weekends, they don't get the Final Order Cutoff right. As a result, there is no DC this week. So sorry for all you DC lovers. Image Comics has Spawn Monolith number one, the second printing, and this is the McFarlane variant. We also have the Rat City number one, third printing. And staying in the same verse, we have the Spawn Salmon Twitch Case Files number one, second printing. Now going into Boom Studios, this is, I'm not sure. It says Something is Killing the Children, number 38, cover F, Final Order Cutoff Reveal variant. Now I don't see anything in the cover there that is revealing, unless maybe it is, but third vicious escapade into Erica's secret past finds yourself squaring against a monster worse than nightmares. So I think this might be a new character, and this might be the cover that reveals it. I don't know if it's going to be a good character or not. I couldn't tell you, but sometimes those obscure covers, like especially when you get down to the letter F, don't get ordered. And if it turns out to be a good character, this might be a book that goes up in value. So if I see something, I'll let you guys make the choice. All I'm trying to do is just point it out that it exists. For Marvel Comics, here we go. We have the Amazing Spider-Man Blood Hunt, number one. This is the second printing of the blood-soaked version. Deadpool, number one, facsimile edition. For all you Deadpool lovers, we got a new facsimile out there. Okay, Giant Size Little Marvels number one. Remember, all Giant Size, all annuals are not included in your subscriptions. Now, this isn't a Giant Size, for a subscription, but it popped into my head to remember. This is Scotty Young's, I guess, a whole world of the little characters he's been drawing for so long. But again, if you have a subscription to something, you're subscribed to The Incredible Hulk. You get 12 months, 12 issues. When the annual comes out, that is not included in your subscription. You have to make sure you go on there and order it separately. I will always try to make sure I point them out on the FOC, not just for Marvel, but for all of them. So if you're worried about missing them, make sure you tune in here every single week. Next up, we have the Helverine number 2. And this is, again, if you like number 1, which I think a lot of people did, here we go. Number 2, the Hellfire Warriors Unleashed. And this is, in my opinion, the best cover of the week for just about anything. That is a banger cover. I love that one. This is the Tony Daniel variant of Helverine number 2. Not a ratio, it's just a variant, so make sure you order it. It's only $3.99. I wish they had that in a glow-in-the-dark version. Kid Venom is getting his own series now. Brace Your Venom, Japan, 977 Kid Venom. All right. I have no idea how good it's going to be, but we'll find out. There are a few good covers on this one, though, I got to say. We had the In-Hyuk Lee variant. I do like that one the best. What I don't like, I'm sorry, is the John Tyler Christopher Negative Space variants. And the reason I don't like this is because this white here is not part of his costume. I don't know what this white is here in his midsection. I don't get it. I mean, like when he does Spider-Man and it's red in the background, the red blends with the red of his costume. That's why it's Negative Space. This just doesn't work for me on this one. But for all you Negative Space variant fans, not everybody's going to like the same thing. So if I don't like it and you love it, by all means, get it. All right, moving on. We have Midnight Suns Blood Hunt number 2. So if you liked 1, there's your reminder. We have Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 2. If you liked number 1, there's your reminder. It's a cool cover too, by the way. Ahsoka number 1. Now, initially when I did my final order cutoff, and I'll make myself a note right now, there are 2 books that I want to add to my list for myself. And this is one of them. And the reason being, I don't remember seeing Hu Yang in a comic book before. And he's right there on the cover. So this may be Hu Yang's first comic. If nothing else, it's definitely his first cover appearance. So whether or not you liked the story or the series, I was crazy about it. I thought it was okay. I mean, I love Rosario Dawson. I just didn't think she's Ahsoka. But David Tennant that did Hu Yang, amazing. And I would love to actually get him to sign this one. I mean, it's a Nakayama cover on the cover A, so can't really go wrong on that. But to have David Tennant, if he ever signs anything, if you're not going for Doctor Who, obviously, and you wanted to get a Hu Yang book, there he is right there on the cover. There's a good opportunity. 2 covers that I think are really cool. You have the Aka variants, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it that right, but this is almost like Peach Momoko, but not. It's sharper because it's not watercolors, but it's in that style, and I do like this cover a lot. And I can't remember the name of the actress that played Sabine Wren, but if she's signing anywhere, that would be a really cool book to get signed. You could have her sign, right down here in the bottom underneath her foot. It really works really well. So again, nice book to have signed, the Annie Wu variant. Moving on. Oh, sorry. I don't know if oh goodness gracious. Morgan Elsbeth was on a cover from The Mandalorian. She probably was, but if not, that's another one that you might want to get. But a lot of nice light spaces where if you wanted to get a dual signature with Rosario Dawson and the actress who played Morgan Elsbeth, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, or even Ashley Eckstein, her name belongs on anything that says Ahsoka, in my opinion. Again, it's another good autograph potential book. Ultimate X-Men number 2, second printing. I know I tried to only say the second printings of number 1, but this is a really nice Momoko, as well as Ultimate X-Men number 3, second printing. So all you Momoko fans out there, or you multiple printing fans, you got a couple of Ultimate X-Men to go for. You also have a second printing of Ultimates number 1. If you want to get that one into your order list, go for it. Union Jack the Ripper. Oh, sorry. Union Jack the Ripper. Union Jack the Ripper. Union Jack the Ripper. I don't know where the emphasis on which syllable should be. But anyway, number 2 is out. So if you like number 1, And I've read a few articles of people saying it is very good. And you want to pick up number 2, don't forget to order it. X-Men 97 number 1, the third printing is out, and this one looks like a picture. You know, like you could turn it sideways, put it in a nice little frame, and put it on your wall. Like, you know, I think that's a cool version. I like that. It's a nice little thing that they've done there. I wish that they didn't have the barcode. That's the only thing. If that was like, say, on the back cover, I think they could have looked so much nicer, or at least offer a virgin variant of that. Ooh, that would be beautiful. X-Men Blood Hunt Magic. Yes, I'm so glad to see Ilyana here. And we've got a couple of decent covers on this one as well. But this is your cover A for Blood Hunt Magic number 1. We do, of course, Momoko has been keeping herself very, very busy lately, you know. So I'm really glad that she's doing full pictures and not just, you know, stuff on a white background, because that's where she really excels, in my opinion. And X-Men Heir of Apocalypse number 2. So if you liked number 1 and you want to get number 2, don't forget to order it. So I think that wraps up Marvel. It does. Moving on to Archie Comics. Archie Comics Judgment Day, number 2 of 3. If you liked number 1, you want to get number 2, don't forget to order it. Cyberpunk has a new story out, Cyberpunk 2077. It's called Kickdown number 1. I don't know if it's going to be a limited series, or I don't think it's a one-shot, or how long it's planning on running. Basically, as long as people are buying it, they'll keep writing it. Barfly from the world of Minor Threats. Barfly number 1. Here's the cover A, which I've ordered 2 copies of this book. So those of you who know me know what that means. And but there is a, in my opinion, better cover. It's the cover B. That's a cool cover. I really like that one. Yeah, Patton Oswalt, cool. Kyle Starks, Ryan Brown, Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom, and Nate Picos. So those of you who know the World of Minor Threats, and you know the character Barfly, and you want to read a storyline of just him, go for it. I mean, it says writer right off the bat. Number 1 name there says Patton Oswalt. So let's see how this goes. I got a feeling about this one. All right, Gotcha Man. This is the other one that I want to add to my thing. So when I was going through, when I saw this picture, I'm like, dude, this looks like a ripoff of G-Force. Yeah, the triumphant return of Gotcha Man, the iconic Japanese animated franchise of a 5-member bird-themed superhero team. I'm like, this is a ripoff of G-Force. And then I Googled it, and I stand correct. G-Force is a ripoff of this. G-Force came out in the 80s. It was actually one of the cartoons I liked watching in the 80s, but this debuted in the early 70s, and G-Force was an adaptation of this. So if you liked G-Force and you would like to see storylines of the original, based on the original material, there you go. We have a new one from Mad Cave Studios. Gotcha Man. Oh, I gotta get this one. I want to write it down right now. Gatchaman. I don't know if it's I read it. It's like, I gotcha, man. All right, so Gotcha Man Can Deathmatch one shot. So there's 2 books there for you to get this week. This one's a little bit more expensive at $6.99. But it's written by Tommy Lee Edwards, and he also did the cover art. So I love when somebody can multitask. They can write a good story and do some good art. That really goes a long way. Kind of reminds me like Scotty Young. All right, so Grendel, Devil's Crucible, Defiance number 1 from Dark Horse Comics. This is a Matt Wagner book, and he also did the art and the cover art. All right, so jack of all trades. Lester of the Lesser Gods number 2. So if you like number 1, you got a kick out of it, and you want to order number 2, Dark Horse would really appreciate your business. From Valiant Comics, we have Ninjak versus Roku, number 1 of 4. Sorry, when I read this before, I was thinking of somebody who's going to attack my TV. I just like, Roku, that's my TV, man. So yeah, I'm not going to plug yes or no. I'm personally passing on it. I don't know the characters. I'm not a big reader of Valiants, but I know that they have a very devoted following. So if you happen to be one and you want to get a new book by them, There you go. It's a 4-part series. Going back to Dark Horse, we have Paranoid Gardens #1 from writer Gerard Way and Sean Simon. We have Rye, Book of Dark, #2 of 2. So if you read #1, another Valiant book, and you want to see the exciting conclusion, don't forget to order this one, add it to your pull list. Rick and Morty, Finals Week, Wrath of Beth. Dun, dun, dun. Someday I'm actually going to have to watch Rick and Morty. It's just never been something that, like, I don't know. And if you know me, you know there's a lot of shows that I just don't bother with. I'd rather watch something that I've seen 500 times and get into something new. Yeah, something wrong with me. I know. All right, Sanction, #2 from Mad Cave Studios. If you like #1 and you want to get #2, this is your reminder. The Star Trek Annual 2024, #1. See, I told you, you got to make sure that you order those annuals separately because IDW has got a new one out. And I kind of like the cover there with the two faces, two versions, two identities of Data. So let's move on. We have one from Distillery Comics. This is the White Boat, #1 convention exclusive. Now, this is an $8.99 book. You know, they come in a prestige format. This is, and that's a wraparound cover, so that's what it looks like all the way around. But this is a new story from Scott Snyder. And it says cover art to be announced. Who's drawing it? So I don't know who drew that or whatever. I personally, I don't go for the magazine ones. I got enough headaches trying to maintain one size book. William of Newberry, #2 from Dark Horse Comics. So if you like #1, that's you gotta make sure you get #2. Now that wraps up the comics, but I did see one book in the books section, which I'd like to talk about. And this is the World of Reading Level 1. This is Captain America softcover. It's only $5.99. Now, this is meant for very young readers that are learning how to read. And honestly, comic books is where I learned to read. I could read. I could read actually before I even went to kindergarten, but I hated reading. So I never applied myself until I started getting comics. And I know other kids today that are still the same way. You give them, you know, they look at any book that you get from the library as World and Peace, War and Peace, or anything by Shakespeare or Fyodor Dostoevsky. It's just they don't want to get into it. A lot of people don't even want to sit down and read Harry Potter. But you put animation into it, or good pictures, characters that they're interested, and you can get them to turn those pages. And next thing you know, they're reading. And the best thing is when they come across a word they don't know, and they either come and ask you what the word means, or you see them, God forbid, picking up a dictionary. Or in today's day and age, Googling it. But the first part though is getting books that they're going to want to pick up, and they're going to want to continue reading and expand their vocabulary and find out the joys of reading themselves. So, and this is a level 1. So again, if you have somebody or know somebody, it doesn't even have to be your family. It could be a coworker's kid, whatever. $5.99. This is an investment in the future, So, and I'm sorry, I plug this kind of stuff because I get 50%. No, I don't get any money. I really want to try to. Somebody put comic books in my hands. I'm trying to help do the same thing for other people. And I'm going to bring myself back to full size, is this week's list. All right. So if you enjoyed this list, I would greatly appreciate it if you click like and subscribe. Join the channel. We have, so I'll try to get a lot of good things going on. And, same time though, make sure you click on those notifications so you know when those videos are dropping. If you'd like to help support the channel, you could really help out by joining Patreon/TeamOhana. It's only $3 a month, or here are YouTube members, also $3 a month. You get bonus content with that. We have a monthly get together where I give away comic books and we just chew the fat and talk comics and just have a blast. Got a great group of people, and I'd love to invite you into joining us. So Until I see you, though, in the next video, thank you so much for joining. Mahalo.